Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is. This is Speed Gaming Live. This is the round of the 32. Nice bracket match here. It's a pretty hype match. We got BigDunka versus HayfieldBay. But my name's Ak the Boker. I'm also here with Toads. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited for this match.
No, this match is crazy. I mean, honestly, at the point we're at in this tournament, it's pretty nuts so far. We had to do weeks of qualifiers. Then we got here. We did the group stage. All of the groups were pretty much stacked. It was basically a bloodbath getting out of the groups. And if you just so happen to make it out of the top two, you're now in the round of 32, which is the matchup we're seeing. And as you can see by the runners themselves, this is going to be nuts. This is going to be a good one. I'm pretty excited.
I'm also very excited to see this one because I've gotten to watch both of these runners in previous tournaments and, of course, in this tournament. And one of the things that I find to be really interesting for these two runners specifically is if you pay attention to the face cams, you are going to notice very, very different situations. BigDunka tends to be extremely expressive, even to the point where you can tell what he is saying, whereas Hayfield tends to look exactly like what he looks now, probably the whole match.
So what you're saying is that Dunka could be referred to as maybe an emotional diva, and HayfieldBay is sturdy as an oak. You guys can pick which one's your favorite.
I would agree with that. The last race I saw with BigDunka, in fact, he ended up having to go into Hera. There was an item in Hera basement. He had skipped it. As he left Hera basement, you could visibly see him just saying no, 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 like repeatedly.
Yeah. Oh, that's a.
I'm
very happy you brought that up. And yeah, I'm sure if you noticed through the group stages, since this was originally a live event, but due to the state of the world, we had moved it online. But we kind of wanted to give you that same experience. We have the face cams on today, so you actually get to physically see their pain and anguish. So it's a really special time.
And we already have a bit of a difference in the run here. BigDunka started out in Sanctuary, whereas HayfieldBay went ahead and did Link's House. No items of note, and just arrows on the Lake Island.
That's a good little check too. Checking Hylia Island there on your way to Saha. You know, you lose a couple screen transitions doing that, but sometimes it can be really awkward getting over. It looks like we have regular crystal at Eastern. Desert was a pendant, and I believe Hera was a 5/6.
Yes, Desert was in fact our green pendant.
It was green. Oh, even better.
Yeah. So that'll be really interesting. And here we have Hayfield going in and checking Sir Hoshila's closet, making use of those boots early. And BigDunka did the bomb cross.
And yeah, this is open boot start, so they will have those boots, and that's a Moon Pearl in the back of Sarashala's closet. And yeah, I mean, that's just one of the perks to having these boots early. That might be something, if, you know, this was not a boot start, you route in later, but hold on one freaking second. Those are the flippers on Lumberjack, and if you look at BigDunka's cam, he is reacting accordingly to what we've seen.
So this could be an Agaseed. We don't know yet if Swamp is going to be a pendant, but if Swamp is a pendant, this might actually be a fake Flipper seed instead.
Yeah, Flippers being up there in Lumberjack is really kind of a wish-washy situation because you really only specifically have to get those Flippers in case there's something in Swamp. Else, if there's nothing in Swamps, there is minor glitches you can use to bypass them, so that will give them. I mean, they're already faced with some interesting decisions to how to handle the seed moving forward.
So BigDunka hasn't really found progression, but he did luck out a little bit in finding those bombs in the back of Geek's hideout because that's going to help the Kakariko routing. 3 bombs is all you need to do all the checks here.
Yeah, 3 bombs, and then, you know, finding those is good, too. He has 50 rupees, but he does have some debts to pay over to the bottle vendor who wants 50. You'll get exactly 50 from the pots here in Blind's Hideout in Kakariko Well. And then when you get an extra 40 here in the back, that kind of alleviates your money concerns. Nice mushroom.
And we have a fetch quest there with the mushrooms.
Always good to see that early. Said no runner in this tournament ever. There's also a cape. And Dunka is shrugging right there. I imagine the reasoning for that is because he's thinking, I'm just going to do Aga anyways.
Oh yeah, that's right, because cape and one sword opens up Aga, as well as the lantern, although, is the lantern actually required, or is it just helpful?
It is just helpful unless you're BigDunka, then it's actually required. Has history with that dark room, and it hurt him. It's given him bad memories. He'll probably be getting the lamp, but honestly, getting the lamp, waiting for that is the better play, anyways.
And we did find our 20 rupees, which would traditionally be our boots if this wasn't an open boot seed.
He's almost vanilla there, giving us a bottle, but even nice enough to fill it for us, so, you know, it's like the randomizer's just a bonus today.
Green goo, second best goo.
Yeah. Nice having that, too. I mean, a lot of seed to play out. We don't know what kind of loadouts we're going to get, but right now they have pretty much nothing to deal with any enemies or anything like that. We have no weapons, but you have cape and you have a bottle of magic. That can be a good safety to have in your pocket for later in the seed.
Yeah, that is a really good point. We actually currently have no real ability to do anything in any of the dungeons except make a couple of early dips, don't we?
And there's Ether Medallion in the back of Tavern. With only 3 bombs here, I wonder if Duncan's going to go buy any. He says no thanks. We'll be holding out, maybe looking for some better investments here down at the library and race game.
Now this is nice because the boots also means, oh, well, there's our first weapon, the hammer. I was about to say the boots are nice because it means this library check is an actual check instead of just information.
Yeah. The boots add so much utility to the run and like give you so much more freedom with your routing. You know, you got some bonk rocks that kick up bombs. You don't have to be going back and forth as much, and you also go fast. It saves your D-pad, you know, because you can, you know, mash your D-pad left and right to make yourself go faster, either lined up against the wall or in the air. It's called pumping. It's really silly, but if you dash, you don't need to do it, so it just saves your D-pad life. Having boots is great.
And also, to put one thing out here, as soon as Hayfield picks up that hammer, he's going to have Dark World access.
I think we're still missing a glove. Yeah, we don't have the glove.
Oh, you're right. We are missing the first glove.
But he's very close. And that definitely brings a good question to play. Like, you know, when is Duncan going to go over and check those 3 at Saha? People kind of tend to maybe want to go over there until, you know, you have a bow. But given the Moon Pearls over there, and you're going to run out of options to do that you don't, since you don't have Dark World access, I imagine he probably will be going over there sooner than later.
I will say that historically watching BigDunka's plays, if anything takes him somewhere that doesn't require him to do an early dip into Eastern, he will follow anything else unless he finds a bow, which has kind of been him in the past before the races I've seen.
And I mean, he's doing his due diligence and heading over here to Agina. This is something that people might neglect to see, but that is fantastic information to have right now. That's a mirror hanging out on the desert ledge, so he will know that he has to have the book to get the mirror. You're not going to be able to, you know, obviously float over there with the mitts because the mirror's on the ledge. You can't mirror up there. That's a fantastic piece of knowledge to have early.
I was going to say, it's not often that you find Desert Ledge is actually booklocked, and there's our gloves.
And he gets the glove. Wow, that's fantastic. You know, that's actually pretty good for Hayfield, in my opinion.
No, I totally agree.
So, like Duncan did sniff out that, you know, Agina was smelling fishy today. Actually, Hayfield's just going that way too. So, if he does his due diligence and checks does the ledge, he will know that the mirror is over there, and then he will also be getting his glove and just have outright Dark World access, whereas Duncan has to go over to Sashrala.
And in the back of this cape, we have a heart, a map, and the ice rod, so there's another weapon, and thankfully we're not going to have to worry about doing ice rod hunts.
Well, that just means Turtle Rock's a pendant. Come on, everybody knows the age-old meme.
Unfortunately, you're probably right. Also, though, this means that there's a pretty good chance that Dark Cross is going to be in play here. Let's see if Hayfield gets excited like he did with the flippers.
There we
Nope,
go. That
nope.
HayfieldBay is showing his range of emotion. I've never seen anybody more excited to get that glove. He knows he has Dark World access. You can just see it on his face right now.
And yeah, I'm expecting this is going to be a hype cave check, and let's hope, well, it depends. If you want a jet seed, we're talking book in hype cave. If you're looking for not a jet seed, I have no idea where we would hide that food.
He would be really happy to find it, and he is electing to go to the Dark World and leaving out Mini Moldorm Cave and presumptuously Ice Rock Cave for the moment. And seeing that that was a load of junk there in Mini Moldorm Cave, I think this is going to work out for them. We got a Pindonet Pot, a Pindonet Mire, and the other 5-6 crystal is going to be Turtle Rock. So that's what I said. I said that Turtle Rock was a 5-6 crystal. Roll the tape back. You heard it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I absolutely heard it. It was a great prediction. We have blue mail.
Well, I guess the white mail, if you were going by the sprite coloration there. Hey,
Ooh,
King of
there's the
Samaria.
pain.
Right.
So, I would say we kind of had a dueling hype caves here, and hype cave actually, for the first time I think most of this tournament, actually won out on being the hyper hype cave.
Yeah, I think Samaria there is always good. Dunka is setting up the water walk here. We'll see what he elects to do with that. Doesn't quite have enough money to pay off Zora, and by that I mean he's short like 400.
So I have noticed that sometimes runners are doing just the hobo and then noping out of this kind of a check so that they can kind of loop in Zora and the waterfall cave along with their catfish checks. And considering we know where that mirror is, that might be what Dunka does. Oh, never mind, I'm wrong. Go straight to that waterfall.
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge range of just little things you can do here. You can do what you were saying, check hobo. You can elect to check these front two, since you are able to open those chests whenever you're walking on water. It would have been very interesting if he would have gotten a 4th heart piece to refill his hearts, because then he would have got forced back into the water, and then he wouldn't be able to get back out because he doesn't have the Moon Pearl. That's always fun to watch, and then you just basically leave a chest hanging in there.
So I'm a little, I wouldn't say confused, but I find that going up there to Zora is a little bit odd considering we know where those flippers are. And since Waterfall Cave is flipper locked and we didn't have the money for Zora, it seems like that is not a check that's worth doing at all. And instead you should be looking for that first sword so that you can go get those flippers, right?
Well, I mean, Dunka does not know that he needs those flippers yet. And, It was just 2 checks there. He got the knowledge on the ledge. My standpoint on that is he's doing that. He did get 3 checks on an item, and he's elected that he's okay with orphaning Zora. And that's really not a uncommon play you see this tournament. I mean, who wants to check Catfish and Zora? Like, nobody. And yeah, Dunka better be careful playing poker with you, because you seem to have his number down, because he is electing to not go over to that eastern area until it seems like he absolutely has to. I think really the only thing he could do after this is go up the mountain, maybe check a couple of things there, and then yeah, he'll have to go get his Moon Pearl at Sah's Closet eventually.
Yeah, I'm expecting he's going to do the mountain check here. It tends to be something he favors, although once again, knowing where that mirror is, I don't know. This routing seems a little interesting considering both of the flippers and the mirror are known locations that we can't get to yet.
But the thing is we know where both of those items are, but I mean, like, knowing where they are, I mean, that's irrelevant at the point, because, you know, even if we knew they were in a chest, like, we still can't get to that chest, so it's really the illusion that those items are closer than they actually are. So it doesn't make sense that you're doing this. I mean, obviously it would be better if you had mirror, or if you had, you know, the flippers, but, like, we still can't get those yet, and we don't know when those are going to be available.
I guess to me, that information would cause me to go for the highest density of checks.
I mean,
which theoretically is what he's kind of going for here, but like I said, that just makes that Zora check just seem a little more obvious.
It was just, I mean, it's, you know, protection, or, I don't know. I thought the play was fine. That's all I'm saying, it's just...
Yeah, no, I get it.
And even if he had the flippers, he still wasn't going to be able to do Zora anyways.
Ah, good point.
And so, yeah, he'll be heading over to Eastern. He's going to get the Pearl. Please stay tuned to his face cam. He made a face when he picked up Cane of Berna on the dam, so I can't even imagine the level of excitement that we're going to see whenever he goes and grabs his Pearl.
He's going for the mushroom, actually, which is, I mean, like I said, he hates going for Eastern, so, I mean, he's willing to do this mushroom check instead.
It's quite an interesting route to take over here to turn in the mushroom. I wonder if he knows that to do the fake flipper over just outside of Link's house. I mean, with the boots, it's relatively free. You just bonk on that weird little statue, and you're perfectly lined up against the wall to set up a fake flipper. Wow, there's a sword.
Which means we are now able to do Aga. I wonder if he's going to run and do Aga real quick.
I don't think he's going to do it without the lamp, but he absolutely could elect to do it, but I don't think it's worth the risk. You could spend a lot of time in there. He, again, still doesn't know that Swamp Palace is a crystal because he has not been able to do a Dark World check. Yeah.
But he is finally going for that Eastern Sahashala. Probably just Sahashala, though, not actually Eastern, do you think?
I would assume he's probably going to dip out of here. Been trying to keep an eye over here on what HayfieldBay is doing.
on Quake.
Yeah. Because, yeah, he basically did, started in the Dark World trying to maybe steal a book or something so he could get the mirror before he, you know, went up to the north here and didn't find it. And then he did go double back and do Mini Moldorm Cave and I believe Ice Rock Cave.
Yeah, I believe he did go get those things. And unfortunately, we knew that they were empty, but, you know, you have to take those checks.
I will say, though, him lacking that sword right now, you would be surprised how much time you can bleed by not having a sword in open mode when your opponent has, because your dashes get, like, just that much more efficient. And you also, like, dash into enemies, you know, you can run into health concerns, and when you're scared of dying, you play a little bit slower. Having Blue Mail and as many hearts that he does help out a bit, but, you know, not being able to dash through enemies kind of just makes your movement like a thorn in your side.
Yeah, also not being able to do things like hammer dashing.
Yeah, I mean, that's just an actual time save, absolutely. Or a time sink, rather. So Dunka will be getting his Cane of Samaria out of Hype Cave. Little ear scratch there, you know, not too interested in it, but, you know, glad to have it, I'm sure.
It's nice to find the items that you know you're going to need eventually, but right now what we're just really looking for is lamp and book. Especially book.
And, these are going to be some brand new checks here on Dunka's side. He's going over to Pyramid. We'll see if he follows this up with Catfish. I actually kind of like this play. Big Bomb, you know, you kind of like to combo Pyramid and Big Bomb together, but Big Bomb does seem a little far away from the realm of imagination, with Turtle Rock being one of the 5/6. And he doesn't have a mirror either. And if you go, you know, to Big Game Stumpy, you orphan Cave 45.
Yeah, and as he's not found the Ice Rod yet, I couldn't imagine that they're going to really feel like the Big Bomb is going to be a check that puts anything in progression, because like you said, it's locked behind Turtle Rock.
Does Hayfield not have the Ice Rod?
I don't see it on the tracker, and I don't recall where we got it, so I can't remember.
I don't either, but I feel like it was very early. I'm almost under the assumption that he does have it, but I could be 1,000% mistaken. It's all right, though. You know, we'll. I'm sure we'll figure it out eventually before it's relevant.
So Hayfield is doing the checks that I was talking about, which is doing Catfish, probably going to mirror here. Although I'm trying to think how he would do a fake flipper in order to get to the waterfall, but he might do the Zora check. I didn't see his money situation. Oh, never mind. He's just going to nope out.
Yeah, Dunka did do Pyramid and Catfish. Hayfield did South Dark World and did the South route, and then he went up to the North now and is doing Hype Cave. The big difference you're seeing between Hayfield and Dunka right now is pretty much Hayfield has not done Escape and Dunka has, but...
Yeah, and I was going to say, chat's probably screaming at us about it because that turns out that the Ice Rod wasn't... It was early, it was an Escape, and like you said, Hayfield hadn't done it yet.
It was Escape?
Yeah, it was one of our 3 Escape items. We had the map, the Ice Rod, and I believe it was a heart piece. Might have
Oh,
been
it was in the back. Right.
Yeah,
And
back
he
in
has
the
okay. I was just, I didn't remember seeing it in the front. Yeah, it was in the back. Okay. I'm sure he'll make his way there sooner than later, though. I wouldn't say it's cause for concern yet, but you know, who knows?
And here we're going to get one of my favorite ways of taking out blind, which is hammer into Cane of Burna. Although this is going to be a tough Cane of Burna considering how low our magic is, so it might just be pure hammer strats.
Yeah, probably wishing he had a little bit more magic here. He had a really good first phase. The second phase did get a little out of hand. He only got, I think, one counted hit on the first phase there, but we did have that green potion, and you know what? Look, it's coming into play. I predicted this a million years ago, but it was an excellent safety to have in case we didn't have the equipment to handle things.
And Dunka, meanwhile, is found lamp and was doing the front of Skull Woods here. Managed to find the lamp in the first check, so that's kind of nice. And Hayfield is first on the board with the crystal by taking out blind.
And that's a good lamp spot there for Dunka. And now he knows that those flippers are within reason for him to get at any point in time. Probably not too interested in them yet because he doesn't have the mirror to even put Swamp Palace on the table. And honestly, we don't have a hook shot, so who wants to do it anyways? But he knows now that he can get those at his leisure.
Correct. And I was going to say, the thing that is a little interesting here is we now have Zora himself in Logic 2 ways. And so I wonder if maybe they're starting to think, is there something on the fish?
I mean, we do have Zora available. We have a couple checks up Death Mountain. We have the entirety of Eastern and Pod on the table. But yes, outside of that, I don't see too many other options available.
Yeah, so aside from some of our dungeon dips, we've got Zora, maybe has a Soggy Book. We've got the Spectral Rock Cave that we could get to. We also, because we have the hammer and the cake, do have Spike Cave. Oh, no mirror, never mind.
Oh, they could do Spike Cave.
Yeah, they can do Spike Cave. Spike Cave's Darkwood. Yeah, okay, so they have Spike Cave, Spectacle Rock, Zora himself, and then, of course, the dips into the various dungeons that we can get into to find that book.
And I would say that in this point in the race, whatever that next big piece is that you're looking for, those are all very spicy situations. I could definitely see one making their way there before the other. I mean, after this, HayfieldBay is going to have some decisions to make, whether or not he does want to go up Death Mountain. I could probably see him doing Escape now. He is still sitting on that mushroom. Yeah, so I'm very curious to see what's going to happen after our Dark World kind of equalizes here.
So, if I remember right, Skullwood has 3 items, right? We know
it's got 2 items. Looks like we got both the items.
It's only 2 items. Okay, yeah, yep, and that is both items. Okay.
So that's actually a good peace of mind there. We don't have to worry about that. We'll just wait until we get our Fire Rod. There's gonna be a small key in here? Okay, that's good for him. Well, actually, I guess not that. Or he actually went... Okay, no, he dropped down. Okay, and now
he hasn't gone to the back yet to find his lantern.
I missed how he started in Skull Woods. I don't see that one that often.
See, I tend to prefer BigDunka's routing on that one, going and doing this back room first. Just because while mastering out and just kind of getting out of here doing the front is, I find to be a little smoother on doing the Skullwoods routing.
Yeah, definitely helpful. I mean, the real big kicker there too is in case the big key is actually in that chest. That way you don't have to, go in the front and go to the back and go to the front. But I mean, Skull Woods is a really weird one. You're really only looking for 2 things in there, and that's both the items. And there could be a myriad of ways that you have to get them.
And here we see Hayfield is going to go ahead and do the backward escape.
Yeah, not a surprising play from him. He's really kind of running out of options that are probably most appealing to him, so now he's kind of going to have to do a little bit of the backtracking and do some of the stuff that we've already seen Dunka do.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've gotten to that point in the seed where the routing has become a little bit less smooth because now we've really kind of dealt with all of our easier checks, and we're missing the Titan Smiths to do the Smith chain. We're missing the hook shot to do more of Death Mountain. So something is going to effectively have to be double or triple dipped here now to kind of find our progression. And it's that book. We really want that book, I think.
The mirror would be nice. I mean, just outright, that does unlock a lot of checks on East Death Mountain. That will give us Hera without the hook shot. However you feel about that in 2020, you know, that's the user decision. And then it gives us the one-off, you know, mirror checks and whatnot. And then if HayfieldBay actually did get his sword, that would also give you getting the flippers and doing left side swamp without the hook shot. I mean, that's always a fun choice too.
I don't know if I really want to be in there with no hook shot for sure, but if we find that second sword, it also opens up both of our tablets.
Yeah, in tandem with the book, which, you know, we would know that we would have to get the mirror. So, yes, that would be a thing as well.
Yeah, because I forgot that's the other thing we're looking for is that second sword. We really only know where one is at the moment.
And it's quite comical he's gone. As long as he has been in this seed, I would understand a little bit of the thought process. Might be trying to, again, get that mirror, like what you were saying, and then you can do everything kind of all together. So I guess hopefully for his sake that somehow the sword does not hardlock the mirror, because those are kind of the weird routing nuances that can get you in trouble on these open boot seeds.
Yeah, because that is one thing that is a little interesting about that catfish play that Hayfield made. So Hayfield went up and did the catfish.
Yeah, Duncan went up and did the catfish in the pyramid.
Yeah. Oh, Duncan did the catfish? Okay. I was thinking Hayfield had done the catfish without the mirror. Okay. So, but yeah, not having that mirror means that mushroom is not a fun check to go do.
I mean, I'm assuming Duncan did it. Now you have me second guessing myself. Oh well, I don't know now. And advantages to the sword there on BigDunka's fight. His fight was a little bit cleaner. It did take him a little bit less time to do that. Definitely nothing within the realms of, you know, this race being over by any means. We don't even know what's going on, but that does help. And I mean, also too, this is a very long death warp from Hayfield's side as well.
I was going to say, picking up that red mail off of blind makes this a little bit more of a frustrating death warp than they're used to.
Oh yeah, I can't stand having red mail and no mirror. It is the worst. I don't think I've ever seen anybody open brewery from left to right there. Dunka is just a master at his craft. He knows how to open brewery at both sides. I don't know anybody that is more technically advanced and experienced in this game than BigDunka.
It is definitely fun watching all of these runners so far in this tournament play. I've seen some really interesting tricks that I didn't know about. I saw at one point somebody did a boots up the stairs in Palace of Darkness to jump over the red blocks that were up. And my co-com and I both were like, wait, what was that and how did that happen?
Yeah, that's one of the really niche ones. You don't quite see that often, but you just set down your Samaria block and then you are dashing next to that pit the same way you would be dashing to set up a water walk outside of Ice Rod Cave or Mini Moldrum Cave, and you dash upward, and for some reason you just carry your momentum and extend past those blocks. It can be useful in some situations.
It was definitely fun to see because it was really smooth. And there, Hayfield finally finished up the escape. Might be going up to do the Death Mountain check.
Yeah. And like I said, both of their options have really dwindled. I think Dunka is actually following right behind him, and they're both going to check out what's up there.
Yeah, it appears that we are basically right on track. The only real difference between these two runners is that BigDunka has turned in the mushroom, making it a little easier for him to do this, whereas Hayfield has not. And so,
catfish and pyramid play.
Yeah, we're about linked up here.
I'm not quite sure what Hayfield did either after Ice Rod Cave whenever he was over there. I don't know if he did any of the fake flipper shenanigans also.
I did not see him do any fake flippers.
Okay. So Dunka would have those 2 checks in Waterfall Cave, and also
Nobody's done the hobo yet.
yeah. Okay.
But we do have Zora Ledge, we know is a bottle full of red goo, and then we haven't checked Zora himself yet. Spectacle Rock just has bombs. And the cave just has a rupee, so far, Death Mountain has not turned up to be what we need.
We got that last check up here, Spike Cave. I mean, I'm sure they're both probably pretty interested in that. They got the invincibility items, you know, glove, hammer. We've seen Mitts in this cave in this tournament.
And what's nice here is they're kind of being forced to go. I've seen so many runners orphan this check in this tournament, and then it end up, probably I'd say about 25% of the time, ends up being something important. So here they're kind of forced to go because we're just running out of checks.
And just a piece of art.
Okay, so that leaves us what? We've got Zora, we've got, we could do a dip into Pod. What else do we have access to right now?
Zora, Pod, Hobo, Eastern, Swamp Palace. I mean, they would have to obviously go get the flippers. And by the way, I was lying about Swamp Palace because they don't have the mirrors. So, yeah, Pod, Eastern, and yeah, Zora is a thing. Hayfield's going to be getting his sword here, finally turning in that mushroom.
And using exactly what you're talking about, that whirlpool. So that's kind of nice to see.
BigDunka wanted that fairy, but that fairy was doing a good job playing Ring Around the Rosie there in that statue.
And it looks like BigDunka is going to go ahead and do the dip into Eastern. As you can see, this is basically last location here for both runners, really.
Yeah, I like going Eastern into Pod here first. I think it's not uncommon in this situation to do Pod first, especially if you didn't have the mirror, because you probably just assume that maybe mirrors and Pod or whatever you need is going to be leading into it, but we know where the mirror is at, so he knows he's not necessarily going to get it outright in Pod, so he's just going to cover his bases and do Eastern first. And
Hayfield is biting the bullet. Got that sword. We saw a little bit of emotion there, and he's going to go ahead and do the Aga now.
Did he buy a... Oh, he bought a potion. Okay.
Yeah, he did. He went and bought a blue potion while he was up there. Yeah, he saw the sword, kind of got a smile on his face, was like, ah, great. Got the potion, and then head straight for Aga. Meanwhile, if you're a fan of BigDunka, you're really hoping he finds something here. We're talking mitts or book, probably, is what would be the best. And we know that Hayfield's not going to find anything on the pyramid because BigDunka already did that check. Unless it was Hayfield, and both of us just kind of got it wrong. I do not remember who checked the pyramid.
Well, we'll see whenever he gets there. And if Hayfield was the one that did not check it, I would say that this is pretty spot on routing by him not going over to check that, because I forgot that we knew, you know, the flippers were at Lumberjack. So yeah, why would you go and check pyramid when you were going to do Aga? Just do it then. And there's
second sword in Eastern. So we now have Master Sword. And as you can see, BigDunka very not happy with this check. This is very much not his favorite thing.
I mean, getting the sword there again is good. I think doing the majority of the game with Tempered opposed to Fighter Sword or Master Sword, again, that does save time. Maybe you would be rather doing this with the bow, but at least this is not dead time for him lost. He is getting some, you know, help from it, some advantage, something to maybe help him out. Who knows if we, you know, we're going to outright need that Master Sword to maybe do a tablet whenever the time comes. So this isn't so bad yet.
Oh, I agree completely. He's just unfortunate. And I believe that's our last item, which...
It's to quit out. And then also, I think maybe he might have been intending the Death Warp out there, but good old Sankard saying not today, mister.
Well, where is he heading now?
Something down here. Maybe trying to get a little bit more money to do Zora. Yeah, so we got 5 rupees from the bush crab. That'll get him this money. Dunka, I don't think this is a very good play unless you're going to hard reset this money. Because if Zora has nothing and Hobo has nothing and you get no money, the only thing you got left is Pod, brother, and you're going to be broke.
Oh, yeah, that is a really, really good point. I do hope that he goes ahead and does the Hobo check he skipped earlier. Nope, still not doing it.
But I mean, he can literally just reset his console before he.
Yeah, instead of the saving quit. That's not a bad idea. I mean, especially skipping the Hobo makes a lot more sense if you know that you're going to be getting rid of anything that's not progression from Zora. And over on Hayfield's side, we're having a pretty good fight here. So we didn't ask about it beforehand. I believe I've seen one blue ball going here. Agadem could give you, I said Zora, I meant Agadem. Agadem can give you, what, up to 15 if you're really unlucky?
Yeah, basically he shoots 4 energy balls at you every time. The first one is always going to be one you can reflect. Hold on 1 second. Breaking news, we have a hook shot over at Zora. That is incredible. That's actually a really big get there for him.
Okay, so now this is the point where BigDunka is really having to decide, am I ahead or am I behind? What is the likelihood that Hayfield grabbed this and has already done these East Death Mountain checks?
Honestly, I don't think he's that worried about it if I was in his spot, because he knows that money has been very, very tight this seed. He knows that if Hayfield did go over there and do early, he would have had to done it very, very aggressively to get those 500 rupees. Hayfield also did peek his way over and check the pyramid, so I do believe it was Duncan that came over. And
yeah, he's going up and doing the catfish now.
And I mean, that's spot on routing by him as well. He hasn't done the 2 checks in the waterfall either, so it's not like Zora is completely orphaned for him like it was for Dunka. Dunka getting hookshot there is actually great for him, because that could have been something that really hurt him throughout the season. That's also the mitts hanging out there in Paradox Cave, so everything is starting to really open up for us.
So this is now we have a good number of checks that we can possibly gain access to, because the mitts gives us the rest of Dark Mountain. We can also go check to see what pendant we're going to need for Turtle Rock. And if it's one we already have, that gives us at least 1 check in the front of Turtle Rock, since we have Cane of Samaria, possibly more if we find a key in there. Also Hookshot Cave, since we have the Hookshot. Yeah, this is, finding Hookshot and then mitts there is a lot of checks opened up.
So Hayfield will be getting his flippers over here. Boy, with that hookshot sitting on Zora, you might be thinking to yourself, why'd you buy that potion? Because now you can't afford the hookshot. I'm sure if you told him what would you rather spend, 160 bucks for, a hookshot or a blue potion, he would take the hookshot, but he didn't know that deal was on the table.
So now the question is he going to go farm up some rupees in the cave? Well,
I actually think he is. This looks like a Houlihan play if I've ever seen one. So...
yeah, and it's probably a pretty good idea, because that'll put you in Link's house, and then he could... is there even a good way to go over if you go that way?
To that area, yeah, and just swim right down in the water. He's got the flippers. I think this gives him exactly 500 rupees. Actually, it's going to be a little bit more than that. I didn't realize you got that much from a Houlihan, yeah.
It's 200 and something. I can't remember exactly how much, but it's 200 something.
It looked like it was like 275. For some reason, I thought it was 225, which... I don't know. I'm confusing myself now, but good for him. And this makes it a lot less nervous for him, too. Because, again, if he had exactly only 500 bucks and then the next thing he has to do is pod, you can't afford to get in there.
So, also, the nice thing about BigDunka picking up that Master Sword is that it's only going to be 3 spins to take out Moldorm here. So, it makes it a nice quick fight. And I did not count the items, so I don't know if basement's required.
We'll just look at his face.
Oh, and BigDunka also was just trying to count up the items, so I have no idea. Is that a bow?
There's a bow hanging out there on a hobo. Oh my gosh.
So this whole time I was saying, man, BigDunka should have checked hobo. BigDunka really should have checked hobo. It turns out he really should have checked hobo.
Is HayfieldBay going to hold on to his guns here and still check Zora also, or is he going to go up to Eastern? This is great for HayfieldBay because he is actually still going to do Zora. That bow did not change his mind. So he's going to get his hook shot as well, and then also have a bow pretty much to lead him, just to kind of cleanly doing pod and Eastern as well. I guess pod is a pendant.
Yeah, pod is a pendant, but I mean, it's still what, 4 items? How many items are in pod? I always forget.
There's 5 items in pod. Yep.
Okay, yeah, I knew it was a larger number than 3.
6 if you include the pedestal. That's your perception on that one.
We'll say 5 1/3 since it's not a green pendant.
Well, that is a very interesting get. This seed just keeps getting more interesting every time. Dunka doing Spiral Cave and then climbing back up here. I do like this route because he wants to open Turtle Rock while he's on Death Mountain, because if he would have just elected to stay in the Dark World down there and do a little bit of a shortcut, he would not be able to have a chance to open Turtle Rock because he has no mirror.
Yeah, that was very, very good routing on his side, and this will probably see us go into Hookshot Cave next.
Because if he finds a Fire Rod over here in Hookshot Cave or Super Bunny, he can just go do Turtle Rock and then pray that nothing's in Mimic Cave.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. Now, just to let chat know, we are having a little bit of problem with the tracker, so it might be slow to get the updates. Our tracker also is clicking the buttons, but we're just having a little bit of a slowdown between when it appears for you guys. So hopefully it'll all come through and you'll see stuff coming through late.
But don't worry about it all, guys. I'm sure with our excellent commentary, you haven't been able to miss a thing, because we have not been wrong or confused or, about anything. Like I'm sure we're keeping you up to date just fine. Right?
Just think of it as the extra layer of the game is how many times can you point out when the commentators got it completely wrong?
None, because it doesn't happen.
Yeah, perfect. So Hayfield is over here in Eastern like we expected. Now the difference here between Hayfield and BigDunka is that Hayfield finding that bow means that he'll be able to full clear it and pick up another crystal. Meanwhile, Dunka doing Hookshot Cave like we expected and not really finding anything yet. We say useless medallion. Now we know that we can get into Meyer, but Meyer was a pendant, wasn't it?
Meyer is a pendant. We don't have that flute, so in case we did get that flute, we would know that that would be on the table. But yeah, really all we're looking for right now is the Fire Rod and the hook.
So Dunka doing a callback to one of his previous races is going to go ahead and come in here to Turtle Rock and hope to find something in one of these first 2 checks.
Finding Fire Rod in here would just be incredible. That is a small key. He can basically keep going forward as long as he finds small keys. As soon as the small key comes out, it's time to go.
And you can see that reaction from Dunka, because this is what happened exactly in his last qualifier match, or in his last group match, was Turtle Rock small key front having to go deep into it to find that item, and he's having some flashbacks, it looks like.
I mean, it's a tough call, because, again, he could find small keys and then eventually get the big key and run all the way to the back to Laser Bridge, but if you do all that for a goose egg, it doesn't feel good, so...
And Hayfield, meanwhile, is just living the dream. He's got the perfect routing, picked up those flippers, did the checks, and managed, whether by design or accident, to just be exactly on logic here, and it's being a really smooth run for him so far.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that Dunka did not elect to go do Hobo. I mean, he made a trip specifically for Zora and nothing else. He could have weaseled in the Hobo check at the same time, but at that point, he really just wanted Hobo. So that could end up hurting him a lot in this race.
Yeah, I think basically what happened was sometimes you get a little bit of tunnel vision where, like, I need to go do X check. And then, especially if that check ends up being something big, you just feel so paid off that you don't even think about the stuff that you skipped through. And that's probably what's happened here.
And Dunka just getting that small key in the vanilla big key chest. We needed that chest to be vanilla for him to continue forward. So he knows that that fire rod is not going to be in Turtle Rock. So he's not going to look for it there, at least. But that was still a good amount of time that he lost having to do that.
Yeah, that forced double dip into Turtle Rock, the double dip into Zora, these things might add up. Just 300.
Hayfield missing or shooting one extra arrow there, so not going to be quite getting the quick kill, but does get the kill down, does get a second crystal, also gets a red boomerang.
So if we needed to Ancillor glitch, we could, but we got the flippers, so that red boomerang is just a waste for us. But that does give us another crystal, so we've got the crystal totals are, what, I believe 2 to 2 actually, tied up because Dunka has Hera done.
It's 2 to 2, but we have the outlier that Hayfield has also done Aga, so, we could consider that to be a pseudo 8th crystal today, because you are going to indeed have to do that to get the flippers. So yeah, getting his hook shot, he's just gonna hang over here, enjoy the life over in East Death Mountain, get all of these items. We'll get to see how he handles Turtle Rock and whatnot, and Hera.
Meanwhile, Dunka's gonna go ahead and do the Smith Chain, Hammer Pegs, and possibly do Fake Powder.
I don't think he's... No, we don't have a mushroom, so there's no way that's going to be...
No, Dunka has mushroom. Oh, no, that's right. He turned it in, didn't he? To get the sword. Yeah, we have no mushroom.
But, it is interesting, because he is doing this without mirror, so things are going to get a little weird. That's a flute hanging out there. The item that you maybe did not want to see at all in this seed.
Well, the nice thing, though, is that since he has to do Smith the long way, it actually ends up being the best time to probably pick that flute up without the mirror, because he's going to have to head back to Kakariko.
Yeah, he has to walk back here anyway, so at least he gets to turn in his flute along the way. You just got to hope that flute's not a big giant red herring.
Yeah, silver linings. And, that is a really good point, because what Dunka's probably thinking is, I've got mitts. Mitts are my progression. I got flute. Now I can go check. The shed for Meyer, but he can't go get the mirror because mirror is mirror locked or book locked.
Yeah, and that book could just be sitting in Misery Meyer or sitting in that Misery Meyer shed. We don't know. That book could be sitting from this Smith. Maybe he likes to read. Could be in a purple chest. God knows. This seed is playing out to be very interesting, and I feel like everything is kind of pivoting around that mirror. I really do feel like that mirror has affected their routing and their choices, because they know it was there. Like, they want to get it, but man, no matter how much you want it, like, you're still gonna have to find that book.
And just a bug net. Hopefully we'll pay attention to, hopefully I can see the number of items in Harry here to know if basement matters.
Yeah, I probably should be paying attention to that too, but that's really not my forte. I'm trying.
I missed it the first time, and then I missed the first few checks the second time. We found the map there.
Okay. So if you found them. I feel like Moldorm didn't have an item. I feel like there's an item in there, but I don't know. I could be mistaken.
Nothing in the Meyer shed.
Well, he didn't save and quit here, so either he forgot to save and quit, or it's Meyer time, baby. And you know what? I think it's Meyer time, baby.
Yeah, it is nice to see him doing all these checks, but it's also a little bit heartbreaking to know that all he has to do is go get that hobo, and he's got so many other better checks that he could be doing.
I mean, the bow really doesn't open up very many. I mean, he's going to need that bow, presumptuously, unless we find the second one, because there are 2 bows in this seed. Eastern is just going to give him a boomerang, but from his perspective, he gets a bow, he goes and does Eastern, then what do? Do you do Pendant Pot or do you do Pendant Meyer? Well, he's already here, so...
Right, but that's kind of what my thought process was, is that Pendant Pod is probably the better pickup than Meyer. Although, you know, he has already done the Death Mountain check. He has already gone up into this area. So he's not actually behind in any way. And who knows, Hayfield may end up having to come over here also.
The one question I have is maybe not biting the bullet on Ice Palace. I'm not quite sure why you wouldn't be interested in that. That is something that, I mean, it's within logic. We do have that Bombos. He could go get those flippers as soon as he kills Aga 1, which he has plenty of equipment to do.
And even if he doesn't go get the flippers, I mean, he could easily do a fake flipper to go into Ice Palace and, you know, skip Aga. So if he's really wanting to skip it, he's got the tools.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, I mean, the flute made the fake flipper a little bit easier, but I mean, I think he's really interested in this flute. He wants to follow it. You know, you did Meyer Shed, might as well just come over here and do the, you know, this is like Meyer Shed 2. You have 2 items in here, it's just a little bit bigger. And we already found one there.
He does have a fire source, so even though it's slow, I mean, he can do every single check here, thankfully.
HayfieldBay did do his due diligence also and open up Turtle Rock, so if he elects to go into Turtle Rock as well, he won't be, or Dunka will be getting that time back as well. And that was 2 items in Meyer, so that was a complete bust.
Yeah, and I'm assuming we're going to see the same thing from Hayfield. He's probably going to do, because he just did his Hera, he's probably going to do Hookshot Cave, come back, and do the first couple of checks in Turtle Rock.
Dunka shaking and scratching his bald head, not feeling very good about that one, knowing he just did Meyer for absolutely nothing. Now is biting the bullet. He's going to go get his flippers from doing...
He's going to go check Dark Cross because he didn't check it yet, and he knows there's an item. We know it's just bomb, but...
It's so annoying, too, because you probably want to do Aga also, but... I got this red mail, and these snakes don't hurt very hard, so I guess I'll just have to save and quit and walk back again.
Yeah, and honestly, I can understand if he wants to do Aga and wants to do Dark Cross, technically it's a little faster to go do the Dark Cross first, since if you beat Aga, you're going to have to go all the way around through the Uncle to get back in here.
Right, yeah, it's the same thing. He's got to make another trip to the castle. The mirror is really putting a pain on them trying to route everything efficiently. It's hard to do. So yeah, he's going to walk back, he's going to do Aga, get his flipper. HayfieldBay is going to get his Bombos over here in Hookshot Cave. So he's probably salivating at the jaw a little bit for Ice Palace. You can see the excitement on his face. He's ready to go. But no, he's actually going to go over here and go into Turtle Rock and go all the way to the vanilla big key chest and get 3 small keys.
Yeah, see, because I kind of agree with you about the Ice Palace, especially for Hayfield, because Hayfield has literally everything that you would want in order to full clear Ice Palace. And Apathy kind of has this thing. He says A, B, C, D, always be clearing dungeons. And I kind of agree that it's a situation where you might as well just go down to the Ice Palace, clear it first, and then come do the checks here in Turtle Rock.
Yeah. I mean, you know, this is a cash tournament, the most prestigious and highest prize pool, A Link to the Past randomizer tournament we have. If everybody follows, you know, the same textbook style rubric of, you know, always do your crystal dungeons, well then, I mean, you're only going to be as good as the person that is not as fast as you. So sometimes you got to mix it up a little. You got to make some risks, make some gambles.
And we're actually seeing Hayfield have the exact same reaction to the key into key routing here in Turtle Rock as BigDunka, just not quite as expressively.
I mean, it's a big red flag when you start seeing those keys, because you got to be thinking like, hey, the game had to logically put these keys in a certain way. You're wondering like, is that fire rod coming pretty soon or not? Unfortunately, it's not going to be today. It was just a little tease.
Yeah, no mirror, no fire rod. It's not fun.
Him skipping this would have been very, very bad for Dunka. Him doing that is really still making this race razor tight.
Yeah, the big thing here is going to be if Hayfield goes and does Ice Palace first, or actually Swamp. So either Ice Palace or Swamp before going and doing the Smith Chain and Meyer. That will probably give him a little bit more of a lead.
Not doing swamp yet, because again, that mirror. I know it's crazy.
Oh God, yeah, that's right. Man, I'm so not used to not having the mirror.
Keep thinking we have it. We've seen it. We've seen how shiny it is sitting there on the desert ledge, but we still can't get it because we have to find that book.
You know, I've never have had this situation in a race where you've got everything you need for swamp except the mirror. It's usually like you're missing the hammer or the hook shot.
Pretty sensible play to go over here and do Ice Palace. He's a little light on magic.
Ah, but remember, he has that blue potion that he bought that made him have to go farm up for Zora.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty lame in Turtle Rock that he had to spend all of his magic. I guess he could have went one pipe further and refilled all of his magic to go into Ice Palace if he wanted to spend the extra screen transitions there. Probably wouldn't have been so bad.
Yeah, it might have been a good save, because I think that screen transition's probably faster than the menuing to the blue potion.
Menuing? What's that? In case you haven't
There's
noticed,
the book.
That's the book over in Ice Palace. Oof.
Oh, Ice Palace was the play, which honestly, BigDunka's about to get his flipper, so you might see BigDunka do the check for the hobo and the check for the Ice Palace at the same time.
For his sake, I hope he does. I really hope that he doesn't go swim over into Ice Palace and not do hobo, because Lord knows when he's going to check hobo after he gets that book. But he might do it. We'll have to see. But he got his Aggo one down. He'll go get his flippers. Surely Ice Palace is on the menu for him. Meanwhile, we got Icebreaker glitch here from HayfieldBay, pulling that off well with very few tries to do it without messing up, given he has no magic.
The one thing I worry about is that if Dunka goes and checks hobo, sees that bow, and then nopes out before going and doing Ice Palace.
I mean, that won't matter anyways, because what's he going to do? He's going to go do Easter and then what? Go do Pod? No, he's going to go to Ice Palace. Don't worry about that one.
Well, it's more just that having that mirror would speed him up through those dungeons that Hayfield has done, so he could maybe get back a little bit of the time that he lost in the Meyer check.
Nah, mirror doesn't save any time unless he happens to go into Pod, so all that stuff's in the light world. It would be fine. No doom and gloom for that situation. That's a no contest. He'll be fine with that one. Trust me.
Well, we have been so perfectly correct all the rest of the time, so I'm sure we're going to get it this time too.
As far as I've heard, no one said I've been wrong yet so far, so I ain't even going to worry about it.
Are we done checking items here? I think we are. There's only, how many items are in Ice Palace?
3 items are in Ice Palace. This is a very strange way for Dunka to swim to Ice Palace if he wasn't doing hobo, so I imagine that we are going to go do hobo here. Good for him. He will get his bow, and I'm going to try and do my best to look at both screens here, because we got an awesome Cold Stare fight coming on, but I also really want to see Dunka's face game. No Fire Rod using Bombos. We just have a Master Sword. It's going to take quite a few clicks. He's going to switch over to the hammer, get some good hammers in.
Oh, meanwhile, that is some beautiful multi-eyeballs.
We got Dunka looking like he just drank a sip of sour milk with the reaction to picking up that bow, knowing he could have had that for a while.
Oh, that hammer hitbox just doing us dirty here. But that was a really nice Cold Stare.
Yeah, that was a good hammer Cold Stare. And again, getting the spin off and then getting the initial hammer hits is clutch for really lessening the time that fight takes. So that was a great fight by him. He's even going to take a sip of coffee there to congratulate himself. A little pat in the back. You earned it. Good fight, sir.
So now the question is, for thoroughness, since we have to go through the front of desert, are we going to full clear desert and grab that green pin?
I mean, that is the gambler's curse here in this seed. So from his perspective, that mirror gives him the mirror checks and it gives him swamp. He has the Smith chain looming again, which gives you the flute. And unless there's anything on checkerboard and or pedestal, that flute is the biggest red herring that could possibly exist in this seed.
Yeah, agreed, because we have I can't think of anything that it opens up for us that we need because Pod is a pendant. We already have Death Mountain that we can easily get up to.
The Fire Rod is the last piece of the puzzle for us to finish this seed. There is still a wide variety of places that it could be, but that's what we're looking for. Dunka is pretty much an ice palace behind here. Again, a lot of that goes to the good old red herring of a flute. But that all could turn around, say if there's something on checkerboard or something like that.
And I do want to make note here of BigDunka's execution here. It is just absolutely just clean and fast going through this ice palace.
No, they both have been doing excellent so far. I mean, it has not been an easy seed. It's been an unusual one. They've been having to do things with loadouts that you typically don't have at certain stages in the seed. I think they've been handling it very well.
And meanwhile, Hayfield does look like he's going to be doing the full clear on Desert here, which I honestly kind of agree with just because we've had items so spread out and we're looking for that Fire Rod.
He's just looking for one item, man. You would hate that. Just go grab that mirror and dip out, and your opponent rolls in here and was like, "Oh, hey, Fire Rod just chilling here on the right side." I mean, like, when is he gonna go back? I mean, he doesn't have a flute either, so it's not really easy for him to go back to Desert, even if he wanted to take a risk.
Also, if there's nothing in this big chest here, then it looks like Land Molus actually will be 2 items.
Yeah, we found one, so it'll either be the item in the big chest here, or okay, so Landmo has just the green pendant today.
So yeah, this is where you take that gamble, because you don't need to deal with Landmo unless you want that green pendant. So do you take that mirror, go check Swamp, or do you go ahead and be thorough and grab that green pendant?
I'd imagine you grab that mirror and you choose it the Swamp, but yeah, man, like I said, if that Fire Rod's sitting on Landmo and you make the God Vision call, good lord, you're going to be feeling really good about the seed. But you know, if that green pendant, it's just a red 20, which is the most likely scenario, you feel pretty silly too. So to each their own. Dunka is trying to quick swap over to the hammer, finally gets it.
Yeah, did manage to get the multi-hits over, unfortunately, but still doing pretty good here.
He got some in, but yeah, he was using the Master Sword, which is going to be not nearly as much damage as that hammer, but still keeping things under control here. Red Nail and all those hearts really helps out. And when I say really helps out, if he didn't have either of those, he probably would have been dead.
Looks like Hayfield's going to give us a tablet check. And if this ends up being our Fire Rod, we are in go mode.
Yeah, it's just that one item, you know. You can cut the tension with a knife here. Both of them are actively just looking for the last thing they need. That's a Tempered Sword over on the Bombos tablet. That's a great get. That could save you a ton of time, too, in case we don't find another sword and or the Silver Arrows.
That is a really good point. We are currently looking at a Silverless Ganon. Now, we don't know that because there's still plenty of checks to do, but you know, that might be something. If chat's interested, that's something to look forward to. Dunka remembering, like we have this whole time, he has no mirror, goes to Meyer, and then just
I don't blame him at all for doing that. That's a really, like, again, it's so hard to wrap around your head. I've seen it, but I don't have it. It's not in my pocket yet. I have to go get it.
Yeah, how many times have we done that exact same thing? Just being like, oh, blah, blah, oh, wait, no mirror.
Yeah, everyone's done that one. So he'll get it. We'll see how due diligent he wants to be with his Desert Palace. Meanwhile, HayfieldBay going to finish up basically the last crystal he knows he can finish without getting that Fire Rod, and then after that it's you know, off to the dirty stuff.
So at this point, if you are a Hayfield fan, you are hoping Fire Rod is right here in Swamp and nicely in line with your checks. But if you're looking to have this race either be closer, or if you're looking for Dunka to move up in the bracket, then you really want that Fire Rod to be on green pendant and Dunka to check it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, really, if to equalize things, you kind of want HayfieldBay to do the Smith sequence after this in case there is no Fire Rod, and then hope that the Fire Rod's not on purple chest. But anything to get him that flute and to kind of give some of the time back that Dunka gave to him.
Because as it stands right now, I mean, Dunka is following in Hayfield's footsteps, and it's just that flute check really is about the only difference between the two.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is. But I mean, there's still plenty of nasty options left on the table for him. You have all the mirror checks. Man, they get that Fire Rock could be in Mimic Cave, couldn't it? Am I losing my mind? That absolutely could be there in Mimic Cave. Oh my god, that would be so bad.
That would not be fun, because they would end up that would not surprise me if that ends up being the last location.
It better not be on there. That's all I gotta say. I got things I gotta do today. I don't know how you get over there that fast. Oh, that would be awful.
Well, so far we've picked up 3 items out of Swamp.
I like to call those the money chest there. You always see the good stuff in there, but it was actually just me being more literal today. It was just money. Pushing the block here. Waterfall. Just a map, so...
Swamp has 6 items, right?
6 items in Swamp. We know that there's going to be something on left side because we found the map.
Yeah, because I was gonna say we've got 3 so far, so let's